the chaos that happened, I'm just going to go ahead and roll initiative to see who can actually do anything first. Did that work?
No.
It did a thing.
Okay, let's see. Who got 3? Nate and Beatrice both got triumphs.
He can swap with me.
All right. Well, that doesn't help me. All right. Who got 3 advantages?
He rolls for me.
Davian. So as this kind of breaks out into chaos and happens out of nowhere, you watch as Westland books it into the city. He obviously running at full sprint through the crowd that is kind of gathered and scattered simultaneously. As this happens, of course, a number of guards, guards and soldiers have begun to make their way to see what the fuck is going on over here as well. And you technically had the highest initiative roll, so...
Davian grits his teeth at that. He looks to Hiei and Melody. You two, get the boy.
You got it.
As for you 3, he looks to the prisoners at this moment. We'll find you a nice and cozy place where we can have a chat.
And the boy who the mage the mage apparently who goes by the name of Anton, he kind of like he dropped to his knees and is kind of his hand kind of clutching his throat where some of the flesh has kind of been burnt a little bit. Second degree burns starting to kind of form on them, and he kind of still kind of like gasping for air. He looks up and he says, "Are you just going to let him get away with that?"
Excuse me? Excuse me? And he starts walking to the boy, and he grabs him by the neck. You don't get to order me around. Not when, as I recall, you were joining them. In case you've forgotten, we're at war.
Can you make a coercion check for me
And
real quick?
Nate.
He's basically looming right behind you, yeah? Like
Thank
cracking
you.
his knuckles.
All right, what's
So
the rank?
so go ahead and upgrade your check 3 times.
1, 2, 3.
And it's going to be against
Covered in blood too.
just
Ooh.
against 3. Oh yeah, get a boost dice.
All
Actually, yeah, just 1 boost dice will be fine.
Okay, and then the difficulty
3.
3. Okay, I'll intense focus this.
And so as you kind of like slam him back up against the wall, he kind of like eeps like meagerly from beneath your grasp, and he just kind of like clutching at your hand. He just kind of nods and kind of coughs and tries to say something, but is clearly not able to, and definitely looks to be pacified.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he tosses him to Nate. If he says anything else, you break his nose. And if he says anything else after that, break something else.
I think I'll be able to find something. And you see as the mage boy just kind of gulps. Meanwhile, as Hiei and Rinzu and Melody go to try and catch them, you'll be able to try and you'll be able to recover strain as soon as you're able to kind of bring him in.
Okay.
So Hiei.
Yep.
Go ahead and let's see. Yeah, you beat Rinzu in the initiative order. So go ahead and if you would like to, you can do something to try and catch him.
How far away is he from me?
He is moved. Effectively, it's moved a full turn away, which is 2 maneuvers. and you were pretty close to him, from what I recall.
Yeah.
So he's basically he's basically in medium range.
Okay. With my, let me see here. With my movement speed of 4, I could probably get right up close to him.
Yeah, definitely. You could definitely catch him.
So I'm going to. Yeah, probably would. I'm going to get within close range. So would that be one maneuver or two? Probably
it would be 2.
two.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're moving, but you'll be able to very easily get him.
Yeah.
With 2.
So yeah, I'll spend the. Would 2 get me to close or engaged?
Engaged. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I'll just spend the 2 strain, and I'll get right stop him from running.
Okay. Go ahead and how are you going to stop him?
Well, herein lies the question. You know what? I'm not gonna risk anything. I'm just gonna hamstring shot.
Okay. Yeah.
It only does half damage anyway,
Yeah.
so
No,
it should be fine.
like any damage he takes will be. So yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll. It'll be against it'll just be against shit. Are you? I'm guessing that you're gonna kind of use one of your throwing knives as you're running up to clip him a little bit. So it'll be 1 per, but you'll increase it once. Oh no, you just do half damage hit.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. So that's
a good thing, actually.
Yeah. So you make it less.
Because basically the triumph means that you can like make it so that he effectively takes no damage.
Oh yes, I will do
like,
exactly
because
that.
that's a good thing. Yeah. If it was a despair, that might mean that you would accidentally inflict a critical injury on him. But no,
Yeah.
a triumph you can use to basically make it so that like we could even say that you have some sort of like bola like kind of trip device that
Like a
you were able
tripwire
to-
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Marbles.
And so
Okay.
you kind of grab like a dagger that has like that, and you kind of are able to wrap it around his legs, and you trip him.
And then with the rest of
And-
my movement, I get up next to him and I not necessarily like pin him, but I place a hand on his back.
Yeah, and he obviously hits the ground and is not going anywhere. And Rinzu, it would be pretty simple for you to catch up.
Yeah.
And so you catch up to Westland, who's been incapacitated by Hiei. He's still obviously like conscious and such, but he hits the ground. And as you
he
get
is
closer,
gonna-
the only thing you can hear him saying is he's repeating the words "I'm sorry" over and over.
He's like on the ground, right? Like
Yeah.
she's gonna like get down like on her knees and like look at him, like hand on shoulder, like it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And he just keeps repeating that. And he's just kind of shaking his head.
She's gonna look at him. Come on, let's go.
Try and make a charm check real quick. It's gonna be against it's gonna be against 3 red.
Can I get another boost dice because it's Westland?
Yeah, you can get it. And so as you kind of place your hand on his shoulder, his breathing slows a bit, and he kind of calms down for a moment, and he kind of like looks up at you and Hiei, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I and he just kind of nods, and he stands back up, and he'll come back with you guys. And he just kind of looks at the ground.
Also, a question.
Yes.
While everybody was off doing that, can I kind of cluster Amara for the time being?
Yeah, Amara is not really doing anything. She's just kind of crossing her arms and like watching.
Honestly, I would have given you the
Like,
look. That's
essentially,
like-
just have her help me clean up the bodies.
Yeah, and some of the other soldiers will approach, and they'll ask, "What happened here?"
Oh, there appears to have been a skirmish between 2 mercenary companies. I suppose some rivalries, perhaps, but I believe it's been taken care of. I'm sorry for the trouble.
And he, the guard shrugs, and he says, "Not the first one, and it probably won't be the last." And he gestures to some of the other guards, and he kind of spits off to the side as he goes, and he nods. "Thanks, Lass. We can handle it from here." And he'll kind of help do that as he'll go and gather the he'll help gather the bodies with some of the others.
Thank you for your work, kind sirs.
Yeah, he just kind of waves you off.
And now we should probably escort these criminals to jail.
And
I happen to know a place nearby.
And the one of the guards nods, and he says, if you think you'll be all right doing it, lads down at the prison should be able to take care of them.
Are these sons and daughters?
They're Blood of Legala people,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
who
Well,
likely were sons and daughters beforehand, but they're wearing the updated symbols and such.
Nice.
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 But yeah, they help clean up the scene and ask like some of the surrounding people about like what the fuck was this all about and all that. So
I do. Well, actually, I didn't see how this started, so
that's
I
true.
can actually help.
And but yeah, the other captives are not making a scene. The larger the brother who was captured, he goes kind of oddly docilely, completely surrendering, basically being moved pretty much completely as he goes.
Yeah.
The guy who threw his sword down is not fighting. So
Yeah, that's figured.
Actually, I have an idea. If we're escorting them to the prison, while we do that, can I just have Warren in the meantime just kind of help Amara get a grasp of the city since she's going to be one of our rogue people.
Yeah, no, they could do that.
Yeah, so just kind of remove her from the situation until Westland calms down, and we can have like a more even playing field to talk and just have meet us back at the ranch.
And he nods and he hang on. Can I have you make a deception check real quick?
What difficulty?
It's gonna be against. Do I have Warren's stats up? It's gonna be against 2 red and 1 purple.
Okay.
Okay, so he does not notice that you're in pain yet.
Hmm.
People can notice that I'm in pain once the situation is under control.
That's fair. And so she'll shrug and say, I guess that wouldn't be a bad idea. Besides, it looks like you caught your little vagrant without my help. And she'll shrug and Warren will nod and say, you know how to find me if you need. And he throws his arm around Amara and says, all right, you little ball of sunshine, let's give you the grand tour. And she like shoves him off. Is like, shove off, don't touch me.
Now
Quite
be
the
civil,
charmer.
you two. Now be civil, you two. And also take... Oh, wait, actually. And of course, this is also, like, private. No, take special care to go by the docks. It's supposedly the Fengrungi's mercenaries should be arriving within the next couple days.
I'll see if we can learn anything.
Thank you, Warren.
And he nods, and they'll roll out.
All right, back to Blythe.
And yeah, so during all of that, Westland and he does take your water's gonna take a drink of it.
Good.
And as the he comes back to the group of them and
Good.
and as they come back and they kind of dip out, Beatrice is kind of gotten to her legs and seems to be a little bit shaken, but is kind of walking it off. And Westland goes up to her and Beatrice, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And she kind of shakes her head and waves him off. It's like it's fine. I mean, I got in the way. It's all good. I know you didn't mean it, right? And he nods, and she kind of like rubs her wrist a little bit, but she just kind of waves it off. And but he seems to be docile now at the moment, though he does shoot a sideways glance at Anton, but avoids any lingering eye contact. And Anton is currently being basically manhandled by Nate, and like as he tries to look at them too much, like Nate basically just yanks him away and just like roughly ties his arms behind his back.
All right, we should get moving. Enough of the scene has been caused.
That it has.
Yeah, and he'll kind of push the mage forward. He's like, "Come on, get moving." And yeah, you'll kind of gather them all up and you'll bring them off to the prison. And yeah, as you get to it, as one would expect from a place like Brimrad, the prison is actually pretty large. It's actually probably one of the largest prisons in Lagala, and it's located right in the heart of this, right on the outskirts of the city, near where some of the more militarily oriented districts are. It's the prison of Brimrad is known to be pretty secure, and there's also it's pretty decently sized. And so as the massive tower or the massive like towers that make kind of the edge of this kind of area come into view, you obviously would. You'd be able to explain to any of the guards as you guys went in, and would have no trouble with bringing them in. Seeing as would you like let the people in charge know who you guys were actually, or even just if Davian took charge of it? Yeah, even just as Davian would be able to, since because of who he was. And if anybody gave you trouble, you could just be like, "I could ask my aunt."
Yeah, I really could.
Oh, by the way, you can all make a discipline or a cool check to recover strain.
Nice.
I don't have any of that, so
Yeah, so you're
Let's go to cool. How much is that?
The fuck do I do with that?
Right?
you can use that to double the amount of strain you recover, so you can recover 4 instead.
Sounds good.
And it's a 2-to-1 ratio for advantages, so if you get 2, you cover 1. So yeah, you guys would be able to is there anything in particular you guys want to do here at the prison? There are plenty of things that you could possibly do. The others have kind of Melody and Nate have kind of taken charge of like bringing the prisoners along with Davian. Warren and Amara have obviously dipped to go and keep an eye on the docks and get a lay of the land. Westlin is, aka Eric, is just kind of walking, kind of docile, and Beatrice is unconsciously kind of keeping a bit more of a distance between the two of them than she normally would. But otherwise is mostly back to her bubbly self. But she seems to be kind of avoiding him a little bit. Fair enough.
Fair.
Can I quickly do a GPS check on Renzu? Now that she's here?
Oh yeah, to see if the loom is close.
Yes.
The loom is in the same place that it has been.
Okay. I report that.
We're still in our disguises at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Duly noted.
Yeah, there's no change on the loom's whereabouts.
Mhm.
But yeah, as you guys get to the foreboding fortress that is the Brimrad Penitentiary, you would be able to file the prisoners in for what they did for attacking guys and all of that, and for being enemies, and they'll take them in. The individual in charge of the registration process at the moment appears to be a middle-aged man, large enough that he could very easily be a beast touched or sign tribe, but I mean there's no actual proof beyond that. Wearing the colors of those they are in charge of.
Would I know this dude?
Actually do a make a Make a knowledge warfare check.
Okay, difficulty.
2. You don't know him particularly, but just judging from the information you have and like the name that was given to you, he's you don't know him as any member of the Sons and Daughters. In fact, chances are he was probably on the loyalist side before, but when the city turned, he likely didn't care. He's got his job and he's going to keep doing it.
He is true neutral.
Yeah, pretty much. Just judging from the fact that the only thing you know about this guy, Sergeant Russell is his name. The only thing you know about him is that he's held his position here as one of the wardens, literally for the past 20 years, no matter who is in charge of him.
Whoa.
That's generally the case with loyalists in this city anyway. They never really gave a shit.
Yeah, like
It just like was probably why the city was so easy to take over. Like most people were like, whatever.
Yeah,
they had enough problems that like, they're gonna do what it takes to survive.
forget it, man. It's Brimrad.
Right,
It's like
Brimrad
Chinatown, but Brimrad.
But yeah, he a man of few words. He registers the individuals, and he personally takes 2 of them, and has some of his other people with the others. They take them and have them processed into probably some of the larger cells, because prisoners of war mean that this jail is a little bit busier than it normally would be. And he looks back at you and he says, "Oh, and if you're looking for payment, there's nothing unless these folk had bounties on their heads. Sorry."
No payment necessary, sir. We just wanted to get them off the streets after they've been causing so much trouble.
And he kind of nods at that, and he'll depart for the moment, but we'll probably be back if you needed to ask him any questions.
What a day this turned out to be.
Yeah, all in all, the process of kind of collecting them and turning them in would probably take about an hour, just to navigate them and kind of get them in due process of where they need to be.
Yeah.
Did you want to interrogate them?
Talk to them, but I guess
You probably could, if you wanted to do that, either now or later.
I am going to.
We should probably see what information we can get from them. This is out of character.
That was the plan, honestly.
Yeah, because based on what we get from them, determines really what options are available to us right now.
Yeah. Well, I have to talk to them. Bleeth, was it?
Yes, Mr. Mercer.
Well, I'm in a bit of a time schedule, and they know something. At least I hope they do. As to whether they'll cooperate, that's a different story.
And so shortly thereafter, the warden comes back, and you need something else.
I wish to speak with the prisoners.
Oh, you could have told me that before I put them in their cells. Who are you looking to talk to?
Well, there's a mercenary, and then there's a mage.
There's the big bloke. There's the mercenary, and then there's that prissy mage.
The prissy mage and the regular mercenary.
For security's sake, I can only have you talk to one at a time.
Fair enough.
All right, you've got your clearances.
Are we all going or just a few?
I can only let 3 folk in at a time. Security, you understand.
Right.
All right, who's good at getting information from people?
I'm getting Nate into this.
And
I mean, who else has like a high presence
Or just questions that they want to ask.
or have questions? I guess Westland is not allowed.
That's fair.
I mean, I also have a high presence.
So do
I mean, the two people with high presence are myself and Rinzu, so it all depends on which one you want.
Shit.
Like,
If I end up losing my cool, I may need a healer.
I mean, this wouldn't be your first time asking questions of people, Alstro.
It's also true.
Yeah.
and probably Rinzu would want to take care of
Speak.
Westland too. So.
That's fair.
Well, I'm technically still going under the thing of that's fucking Eric. Like, I haven't gone, like, since we brought him back, I really haven't.
That's true. Though
Like, I'm close,
Just-
but I'm not close.
At
You
least
can probably get
you
a
can still talk to him at least.
Yeah.
And
Like,
like keep
it's
him
also-
calm.
like he's a mercenary, obviously freaking out, so you can just like do more.
Yeah.
And you're a morale person, and you care
You are
about
a
people,
morale
so.
person.
I do.
And so you can talk to both Henry and his sister because they seem to have had a hard time right there.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So I'll go. Still
met
hiding the
Eric.
fact that I am in
Henry's-
horrible, crippling pain right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you know,
Can I make a check if I notice this? Or she have to roll a deception check against me? Because I do have nobody's fool.
That depends on how directly you're interacting with her.
Ah,
She did pass her cool check earlier, so probably not.
okay.
Not yet, at least.
I'm also really good at working in pain because it happened a lot in the Zodiac arc.
That's true. and ultimately, like the pain is still there, but it's not crippling anymore. It's like it's this dull ache in your core, but it's like it's not anything that's going to actually physically change how you were operating.
Nice.
Even like as long if you're able to kind of maintain your cool, there won't be anything unless you people to know. As long as you aren't doing anything strenuous. And we'll get
That
to
makes sense.
we'll get to what Rinzu and Hiei and Connor are doing with this time as you go, because I'm keeping track of basically how much time people
Oh, yeah,
have
no,
spent
that's
doing
fair.
things. As you go. So
Honestly, would have asked Henry to talk.
yeah, which I imagine he'll probably do that in the meantime. And so he looks to you guys and he asks once again like this.
What does that out of character?
Normally, if you're going to interrogate prisoners, you have to basically be able to prove that you're not just either A, going to do like that this is not some sort of trick, and B, that you basically have the clearance or authority to like go in and do this.
I feel
like-
like as I would have something.
You
Yes.
would probably have something, yeah.
Yeah.
Do I really have to pull?
Well, you
the-
probably have one of like your sons and daughters things, right?
Yeah.
Like just like the little gear badge that you had, right?
Yeah, we all have gear, we all have our club
Gear badges.
badges.
Little club.
And I probably have something from the council if that is insufficient.
I can't pull the ant card.
You could pull the
Mercer is my aunt.
and but upon flashing your the Council of Vermin thing specifically, he looks you up and down, and he nods and he says, "All right, good enough for me." And he gestures for the three of you guys to follow him. And he's gonna go in and he'll lead you guys to an interrogation room with 3 chairs set up, and then we'll retrieve Anton. squirrely man, slicked back brown hair that's looking a little bit greasy and bloodied and dirtied up from the experience, but otherwise decently handsome, even if a little bit slimy as an individual. You can even just tell. Is brought in by a guard. Obviously his arms bound behind him. All right. You've caught me. I'm here. Do you mind telling me what this is all about?
Well, for one, I feel like you're associated with Blackwatch.
Yes, I understand that. What I meant was what you're doing. Who are you, and what are you doing with that windborn bitch, and with Blackwild's wayward son?
He shows him the patch of the blood of Legala. I think that's
Yes. I get that. Who are you? You owe me
Dave.
that much. Not like I can do anything with the information.
Fair. Davian Mercer. Commander of the Mercer Brigade.
Let me see if what he knows about that. Never heard of him, though I know the name Mercer. Then again, who doesn't?
Etney's nephew, if that's simple enough.
Fair enough. So, Mr. Davian, to what do I owe the pleasure of incarceration?
Well, for one, I have plenty of questions to ask you.
I'm sure you do.
I guess it's whether or not you're willing to cooperate.
His eyes kind of flicker to Nate and to the priestess behind him, and he. What are you going to have your? I assume if I don't cooperate, you're going to have your meathead break some more of my fingers.
More or less, I guess. He's not a very patient guy.
Nate just kind of smirks, and he kind of narrows his eyes a bit more, and he says, "Well, fine. What can I tell you?"
Well, for one, I guess we can start with something you probably won't mind telling me about. What's your history with Beatrice and Wesleyan?
What's my history with them? What does that matter to you?
Oh, it has everything, considering the scene he caused.
He kind of adjusts his hands kind of in front of bound in front of him, and he kind of like raises his hands, clearly like not able to do anything, but kind of just placing the bindings on the table in front of him. Kind of shrugs with his hands as he goes, and he says, Wesleyan was a friend of mine back in college before he decided that he was too cool to spend time with any of us. Or rather, I suppose, in his case, not cool enough.
That's it.
That's all that matters.
So that's enough for him to simply try to kill you.
I don't know why he tried to kill me. The last time I saw him was at I saw him was at the fete after our graduation. He was perfectly fine with me back then, a bit more distant than before, but chances are that's because the boy doesn't know how to handle a woman. None of that's my concern. All I know is he was injured, and apparently whatever trauma whatever trauma his father put him through made him hate me for some reason.
Is he hiding anything from this?
Make a vigilance check to try and discern lies.
Difficulty?
It'll, or actually, I guess in this case, it'll be
Yeah.
he would be the active player here.
Upgrade at once with nobody's fool.
It's going to be against 1 red and 2 purple. That's it.
Okay.
And with nobody's fool, you can basically just upgrade your ability in this case.
Okay, 1 red, 1 purple. Increase. I'm not gonna intense focus. I'll check.
It's hard to tell exactly what he's being legit about, but you're pretty sure by the smugness of his demeanor that he's probably not telling you the whole story and is probably going to spin small details to favor his side.
Well, clearly you don't know anything. So I guess I can just ask them.
Feel free. I knew Beatrice, but then again, who didn't know Beatrice back then? And he gets a shitty smirk.
Good to know. Next question. What are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing here? Since you're the
Roll.
since you're the detective here.
Keep playing smartass. And well, you know what happens.
Yes, I imagine. Seeing as your blood of Legala is willing to operate with criminals and rebels, you'd be more than willing to rough me up in my cell.
As if the loyalists haven't done that.
He shrugs. I was sent here as support for Terrell Brennan. I assume you already knew he was in the city, yes?
Well, his greeting card was rather hard not to notice.
Our orders were to keep an eye out for people who would try and interfere. I assume that's why those 2 lugheads decided to pick a fight with you. I thought it would be a wiser idea to try and assist them rather than stop them. So here we are. Apparently, I made a poor judgment call.
That you did. Do you know where he is?
Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Have Nate make a course check.
And Nate kind of like sits forward a little bit and kind of cracks his knuckles, and he kind of scoffs and says, "Huh, you don't really think that I believe you're going to torture me, yes? Wasn't your prince's whole stance that you were going to be," and he kind of like air quotes, like his wrists still kind of bound, "better than us"?
Break his fucking legs.
Yes, I suppose. But then again, we're not soldiers. We're mercenaries. Do it.
Wait, are you telling Nate to fuck him up?
Fuck 'em up.
I'm actually gonna probably.
Who's actually there? I didn't need to know.
It's Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, Nate, Davian, and Alstro.
Wait.
Wait.
And Nate sits back down again, like shrugs. What am I doing here?
What do you mean, wait?
And Alistair just looks at him. Nothing that would be permanent.
Well, you heard her. Nothing permanent. But make him feel it.
And he shrugs and gets up and as he does, he kind of like his expression kind of shades, and he's like, "You're joking, right? You're not actually going to." And then Nate pretty much just straight up grabs him, and let me
Damn,
see.
it's a lot of athletics.
Broken bones aren't permanent; they heal.
This poor sod. And he pretty much just like slams his face into the table. And like still kind of holding his head down. Bloody! What the fuck? You've got to be kidding me! You heard the boss.
If there's one thing you shouldn't do, it's test me. Thing about people like you thinking you're above the law, getting away with a lot of things, that's something I intend to change. And, well, you're the first step.
This is also war. I doubt you'd show us the same kind of mercy were you in our position.
Fucking hell! Bloody fuck! You're fucking kidding. And you all walk around toting the fact that you've got some kind of moral high ground just because you don't treat beastmen like they deserve. And he kind of spits on the side of the table. You and your whole fucking movement can go drown for all I care. Fuck! I don't know shit. All right.
Really? Because you said you weren't going to tell me.
Yeah, I weren't going to tell you because I don't know fucking anything.
You sure
I was
about it?
assigned here by Blackwile.
Make
the last-
another-
The last mage went and skipped out, and that's about all there is to it. Thought he'd send me, so here we are. I'm serving the Magister.
Who is the last mage?
Some bloke by the name of, what was it, Baldwin?
Ah,
Know him?
Straight up the guy that
yeah.
they had interacted with last time that Richard bribed.
Oh yeah, I didn't know the guy anyways.
and I ran into him in Okeanos with my mom. It was
Oh.
awkward, but he didn't do anything.
Oh, that's good. You gotta have something for us.
I don't know what else you want to tell you beyond what I know, which is that. That's all I know.
What's the climate in Arcanon right now?
Well, I imagine since it's midsummer, it's probably pretty nice.
Clever.
Nate looks at you, Davian, like, can I hit him again for that one?
Yeah.
And boom! Oh, buddy! Fuck! And you like, as his lip is fattened and his his eyebrows a little bit heavy as he kind of pulls him back up.
Doesn't seem like the ladies will be wanting to talk to you for a while.
Fuck you! The High Towers have the whole shit by the balls. I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
I don't think he knows anything of value, Davian.
Well, guess
He's
not.
He's a boy right out of college.
Fuck, shit.
Doesn't seem to act like one.
He seems to be roughly the same age as you, like, and as Westland.
Yeah, he's not a kid. Well, you're right. He has nothing. What a waste of time.
Shit. Baldwin's been keeping low. I don't know where he is. He's smarter than you think he is. So you could fuck off.
Oh, I imagine he's very smart.
I wouldn't think otherwise. That's why I was asking for information.
Well, I don't know it. All right.
I know. All right. We've had our fun, Nate.
And he kind of shoves him down and pushes him down again. For your sake, you better fucking hope that you win this war. Because I'm going to remember this.
And you better pray I never see you again. Because I won't be as merciful. And he shuts the door.
Yeah, and he'll turn him back to the back to where he needs to be.
Well, one more person to talk to.
Are you talking to the mercenary?
Just, I mean, is the Berserker with him?
They're like both here, but the Berserker does not seem to be as if he's going to be saying anything.
Yeah,
That's
he just
fine,
kind of
yeah.
lost his brother and
Yeah.
doesn't seem to know much either.
I understand. I know.
He's an asshole, but
Yeah, I
still feel kind of bad.
I do, because I know what it would feel like if that happened to me.
Rest in peace, Oliver.
I mean, like losing a brother.
And so you'll the other mercenary will come in. Yeah, he seems to be a pretty average Legolan, brownish black hair, cut short, kind of. He seems to be a bit calmer than the other one, and he. Oh, this was a lot faster than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
I
well,
assume that you're here to interrogate me, yes?
Yeah, well, considering you're not giving us a lot of back talk, I'll consider being more lenient.
I assume you spoke to the brat before me, yes?
Yeah,
Or brat? Pardon me. His
don't even.
and he kind of shrugs and says, "Look, I'll tell you everything I know, but it's going to cost you."
Oh, really? How much are we talking here?
Amnesty and a trip off of this off this godforsaken island
That's it?
or continent rather. He nods.
Huh. Oh.
The purses we were being paid were good, not good enough for the shit.
I was gonna ask if the money was worth your life.
Ain't nothing worth your life.
Exactly. He looks to Alstra. Can it be done?
Out of character, can I arrange something like that?
Yes,
Okay.
most likely.
I mean, how much?
To organize the whole thing, about 2,000 Imperial credits.
Uh,
About 1,000 of which the party members themselves would have to come up with.
Okay.
Yeah, I can post on if you want.
Said 1,000.
Yeah, if you guys basically you guys will have to put in 1,000 effectively.
Like, if it's good information, like,
It has to be really good information.
And he shrugs and
I
says, "It's as good as I can hope it will be."
Well, I do have 5,000 from Connor. So, or wait, that's not.
Was that-
5,000.
was that out of character in Connor?
Out of character?
or
Out of
in-
character. Out of
Out of
character.
character.
It's not 5,000. It's less than that. Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys have money.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're. Yeah, I think we can we can swing this.
I can ship in
Like-
500.
And yeah, I'll probably just kind of
And he
actually
nods and he
put
says,
500 on the table right there.
his eyebrows go up, and fair enough. And he holds up his wrist bindings. Do you mind if we get a little bit more comfortable? This is not exactly a friendly situation with which to have a talk with new business partners.
All right. Now you're not stupid.
And you do know we can't release you right away.
He shrugs. Fair enough. And after releasing him, he offers a hand to you,
Oh,
Davian, like to shake on it.
we'll shake it back. See, this is what the mage lacked.
His presence doesn't quite have a survival instinct.
Clearly.
I grew up in Brimrad. I know how things work around here.
Seems like there's certain things money.
Not when it's handed to you on a silver platter. Regardless, I can tell you what I know. Brennan has been laying low with the help of myself and others who know the area. There's, as you might know, there's plenty of shitholes that somebody can hide in around here. And if, generally speaking, if you have enough money in Brimrad, you can make something happen. He's been utilizing a number of different ways to keep messages flowing. I know. I saw him speaking with some Togwell, Corvid, Black Feathers. I imagine they had something to do with the way that they were keeping communication going.
Black feathers?
He nods.
Hmm.
Don't know much about it myself, but wouldn't be surprised if they have some sort of communication going on around here.
Certainly sounds familiar.
Yeah, possibly.
Anything else?
And he kind of scratches the 5 o'clock shadow that he's got. And well, beyond that, I can tell you that I don't know we haven't been able to get an exact date for when these mercenaries are coming, but I know that he was trying to pin that down, and I know it's within the week.
Within the week.
And that's probably being generous.
Right. And what of your employers? Wouldn't happen to know if any of them would be tagging.
Blackwild?
Well, yeah. Or
Oh, the ambassador. Psh, he shakes his head. Oh, I don't think she'd leave Arcanon at a time like this.
well, one less thing to worry about.
Still,
Still.
can't hurt to be too careful.
Right.
And
If that porcelain doll has left the island, that'd be the first I heard of.
Seems like that's all the questions I have. Do you have any? He looks to leave Alstro.
our Brennans throughout the city, as opposed to just in one location.
I
I assume that's the case.
He nods, in and out. Some of them are camping in some of the woods nearby as well. From what I understand, Brendan's not actually in the city right now. He had a meeting with someone. Don't know who, don't know where.
Hmm.
Next rendezvous was our next rendezvous point was in the city, but chances are the location will end up changing.
Given the scene.
He nods.
Hmm.
And given the fact that I'm not exactly in the loop anymore, I won't be able to really help out. That said, the rendezvous with some of the chief lieutenants of the organization was at a small inn, not on the right near the outskirts of town, on the opposite side, near the port district.
Understood. Question.
Yeah?
Has Brennan been interacting at all with Julius Blackwild?
Julius Blackwell. Let me see what he knows about Julius. This is not the right stat block. He's not that smart.
Ah, I get the street smarts.
He got the street smarts, not the book smarts.
Blackwild, that old noble that what lives in the woods around here. No, don't know much about him. Nor any connection that might exist.
Understood. Well, thank you. We should be... I can see how... We'll keep in touch to see when we can funnel your payment and get you out of the country.
We'll keep our word.
I'm counting on you, lass. After all, I've only got your word. I've only got your word to prove that that I'm not going to turn around and find myself dead. The old pub is called the Old Lioness, by the way. Might end up having some stragglers from the Black Watch showing up. Didn't get the message. It's as I mentioned, it's near the port district.
And when is that meeting?
It should be tonight at about. It should be tonight near midnight.
What time was it? Or now?
Right now it's probably like it's mid morning, probably about like 10 or 11 a.m.
Well, we haven't got much time to prepare. But thank you for the information.
And Brennan isn't going to be there.
Most likely not, because he'll hear about this and.
All right, good to know. Thank you, sir. May I have your name?
Yes, as soon as I hit the button.
He almost let you got out of it, Eric.
And he says, "Name's Rory. Good to meet you. You ain't a priest, are you?"
No, I'm not.
I think so.
Alstermaria Loxley.
Shit.
And if you say anything about it, it'll be adamantly denied.
He kind of raises his hands and is like, "Don't worry, you ain't gonna have me snitching anytime soon."
And I assume it would actually be dangerous to give him the money now, given he's staying in jail.
I mean, unless you straight up were like, if you talk to them and convince them to just let him go now.
I'm gonna keep him in prison for now. Like,
that's fair, yeah.
Just in case, and then just kind of arrange it so that we can get him out and on a boat all at once.
That's
so
fair,
there is nothing left up to chance. So
you'd probably be able to do it at night, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably arrange that soon.
Because I'm not gonna pretend like the people at this prison aren't corrupt and will not take bribes. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah. No.
Well, pleasure doing business.
Likewise. And meanwhile, as this is going on, it probably between all of the prison transfers and all this, it probably took about an additional 2 more hours to do that. And so during that time, as the rest of you guys are kind of the rest of you guys are kind of free to do what you want, either waiting here or doing something else with those 2 hours.
Considering how quickly I move about, I'd probably take that time and get a fair lay of the city.
Okay.
Or as much of it as I probably can. Probably poke about a bit, see what I can see.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception, streetwise, or survival check.
Difficulty?
Just 2. All right. And so in that time, you take those 2 hours to kind of get a lay of the land, and generally speaking, kind of able to kind of piece together the kind of place that this is. Go ahead and ask me 2 questions about the city and about what you would be trying to listen, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can, given the information I can give you.
How averagely tall are the buildings in the city?
The buildings themselves are not exceptionally tall. The closer you get to the center of the town, the taller they get. The prison, for example, is about 4 stories tall. The tallest building is about 5 stories, and is a couple of the there are some like different production facilities and like textile areas and such, in kind of the more central areas, and there are some shipwrights, and there's some shipwrights and stuff that are pretty tall, but none above the 5-story mark. And the further you get out towards the end, the smaller the rest is.
Okay.
And the second question?
I guess average topography, is it all just sort of like on the same plane, or is any of it tiered or divots or rises or anything like that?
Yeah, because the city is a port town, much of it is generally on a similar topography. There's slight variations here and there, especially when you get really close to the coast. But it's pretty flat here, all things considered. There's more hilly areas and stuff in the other areas and regions of Legala, but Brimrat itself is too bad.
Okay.
And I'm sure in the past, when there have been storms, there's actually been like flooding and stuff in some of the areas because it is pretty low to the sea level as well.
Right.
So.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, no problem. There'll be plenty of checks like this to go through. Connor, what are you doing during this time?
I apparently was told to go talk to Eric.
Okay, yeah. So are you gonna have some chit chats?
I guess.
I mean, it's up to you.
I don't have anything better to be doing, I guess.
All right. So yeah. So as you guys are kind of waiting, probably just for Davian and Nate and Alstro finish their business. You would be able to speak to Westlin, aka Eric, pretty easily. He's since recovering from the incident, he's been pretty quiet. Much like a dog that knows he's done something very wrong. And I imagine Rinzu has been there to comfort him in a verbal sense.
Yeah.
Which has definitely helped, but he's still kind of waiting for you to come and yell at him. Is so it seems.
So, can you explain to me what happened there?
I messed up. I'm sorry.
No,
I-
what led up to it? Clearly, something had happened before. You knew that person.
He nods. I was friends with him back when we attended the Hightower Academy. I shouldn't have been friends with him, but I was.
Connor just kind of waits for him to go on.
And he clearly hesitant, but pushed forward by everything. His name was Anton Rushford. He was pretty popular. He was from another big family, and he had a natural charisma that attracted a lot of kids our age. I didn't. Well, I ended up hanging out with them a number of times, and he kind of drug me into their antics and into their clique. I listened. I was an idiot, and I listened to them and all of their boistering and boasting and drinks, and it's not really fair, honestly, that I attacked him like that at the least. The last time we saw each other was before everything. I imagine he was a bit shocked, but it's kind of unfair. I guess I blame him for when I came, but ultimately it wasn't his fault. He's not the one that made the mistakes. He's not the one that listened to him. He's scum, yes, but I'm the one that gave his words, his charisma, any merit to them. And I let that anger that blinded me, and well, you saw. Connor, maybe it's not so good for me to be here. To be helping you, or
Would you prefer to crawl into a hole then, or?
perhaps that would be better.
No.
He looks at you like genuinely surprised.
You don't get to just disappear and hide. This is going to sound really familiar to what you probably heard me say to Alice on the dock, but what you're going to do is you're going to stand up and you're going to keep.
But what if this happens again? What if?
Then don't. Nobody's perfect. But you're letting your mistakes control you instead of trying to fix your mistakes.
Can you make a leadership check for me?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Be a leader.
It'll be against 3 difficulty. But you are get a free upgrade and get 2 boost dice from the fact that he's West. Two of you guys have friendship.
Friendship. Power of friendship.
And that's a roll. And he kind of like looks down for a moment and I guess you're completely right, aren't you? God, it must be really pathetic looking at me complaining about all of my problems when all of this time you've just kept moving forward, Connor. And he does stand up, and he takes a deep breath, and he's actually going to hug you.
Oh God, he has 2 more brawn than me.
He's not crushing you. Don't worry. Like his paramour also has 1 brawn. He knows how to hug without killing. But he does hug you, and I don't know where I'd be without friends like you and Rinzu and Beatrice. I guess I need to step up my game, don't I? And I need to make some apologies.
Yeah, and now I get to go talk to somebody who hates me. So, we're all gonna have fun here.
And he nods and says, I won't let this happen again. I swear to you.
I know. And I'm sure Alstra's gonna try and find you later and talk to you too.
He nods, and it would be within her right. And yeah, he's gonna go and apologize to Chris. And I'm just gonna roll a check to see how well that goes. Not bad for now, but he's probably gonna need to, or she's probably gonna need to need a little bit of time to chill, but she'll be okay. Ultimately it's permanent. So the 2 of them will be able to mend their friendship with time. And in the meantime, to make it so that she would not be here pestering Westland, she actually Alistair actually sent Warren and Amara away to go and do some recon in the city. So she's not here at the moment. So you'll have to travel to find them a little bit.
I made a call to try and de-escalate the situation.
Good shit.
No, that's right.
Do you want to wait until the rest of the party gets together to find them later, or do you want to try and find them?
Are you asking me if I want to go try and use my vision to go find the 2 spies?
So you're gonna wait then?
We just go out to the street saying, "Warren, I miss you."
Warren! Warren!
Yeah, no, I'll just go out to the streets and start screaming Warren.
The John Donner method.
I couldn't possibly go back this time.
The John Donner
Can't go
method.
wrong with the John method.
And because Warren loves you, he'll just Connor needs me.
My boy.
It's like
His Connor senses are tingling.
Oh no.
And
Connor
so
needs me.
So yeah, during all that time, you'd be able to meet back up with them as you guys kind of get back together. By the time everything is kind of done, by the time that the meetings are all done and you guys talked and stuff, it is now just about noon. Yeah, you probably did. And so all of you guys reconvene, you guys reconvene at the around the time that the interrogations.
right. Well, I have a safe house I can take you all to rest if you need it.
That we do. Shall we?
Who runs the safe house?
Oh my god.
It's a church, of course. Blythe says.
Run by Ashling. Who else? Come on.
Yeah, and the priest in charge is.
Do you actually know about Martin, though, out of character?
I don't think that you know who
I don't.
he is.
Wouldn't have any reason to know unless you told me.
Yeah, no. Just making sure, because in the letter you did address it to Martin.
Did I?
Yes.
Well, that was a mistake on Eric's part for not correcting me then.
My bad.
Okay.
It
Okay,
probably
that is fine,
it would have been
actually.
to Reynard, yeah.
Yeah, that was my bad actually, probably.
Yeah, it's all good. I probably just didn't do that. That's fine though.
She kind of just gives you a look to say that I can't break character right now, but you know where we're going.
Oh boy.
That's a hell of a look.
I hate this fucking city.
And
we're off.
and yeah, so you guys will head to the you guys will head to the old cathedral, and as I had described before, a couple of the windows are broken, and generally the place looks to be a little bit more run down than it was the last time that you saw it. That said, there are individuals out and about around here. Some just generally wearing just common clothing. There are some people moving things in and out and speaking. There are some individuals who are entering the building that seem to be actually like doing it for the reasons aforementioned and such like that. Your wounds are not gone yet. Now that will be something that you guys can take care of here. But as you enter into the old building, you see a number of individuals, some who are like cataloging some of the inventory, moving things around and such, and a number of people who are actually actively kneeling at what pews still exist in kind of that upper right corner, and are actually still praying. There are a couple of people here who seem to be wearing some of the garb of the Blood of Legala, and others that seem to just be wearing indiscriminate clothing, just kind of just in regular fashion. The individuals who are currently in prayer are not being led by anyone in particular. But Alstro, as you guys enter, a familiar woman makes eye contact with you. A woman with fiery red hair, whom you obviously recognize as your friend Ermine, or your business associate Ermine, if you will. Speaking with somebody, she breaks off the conversation and nods to them as they go, and she comes up and walks up to you guys as you enter, and she nods and crosses her arms as she looks to all of you, and I see you've brought your mercenaries.
Yes, we ran into a bit of a skirmish on the outskirts of the city. Still keeping character because there are worshippers here.
Yeah. So I've heard, sister.
We thought to retreat here to treat some wounds and regroup, if that is all right.
And she nods, and she she gestures for you guys to follow her. There should be some medical supplies in the room 3 doors to the left, over on that area. You're of course already welcome to use this area or to use this building as a safe house if you need. Just operate with due discretion. She says, like looking to all of you, especially the one. Basically, the amount of look that she gives you is immediately disproportionate to the higher your brawn is. the higher your brawn, the more of a look she gives you. So Nate gets the most of a glare, though he doesn't realize it at all.
Of course.
So it's like the reverse of me dealing with the mercenaries.
Yes, pretty much. And yeah, you guys would be more than welcome to some of the things that they have. All of you guys can recover from 5 wounds.
Yes.
And 2 strain. Just from the resupplies and such. If you guys still have any further wounds in strain, you can either have them healed by magic, i.e. Alstro, or Beatrice can do so, or
and Nate took a lot of hits.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think Nate needs the most work, and probably B and me can work on him.
Yeah.
Like, probably taking extra strain from that, though.
Yeah, it'll be obviously you'll have to spend the things for it.
I have a shit ton of strain to work with if you're worried about it.
Oh yeah, you can heal too.
Oh, yeah, Connor can heal too. I forgot that for a sec. Nah, it's between the 3 of us. We can probably handle everybody who took wounds. If everybody's okay, if the 3 healers are okay with
I think the supplies was enough to heal basically everyone. But
yeah, Nate. I mean, Nate's fine. He's like, it's shit, whatever.
No,
and Renzu knows how to band-aids.
Nate, you're literally bleeding right now.
I do know how to band-aid.
Renzu, can you help us with band-aids?
I was bleeding. Thank you very much.
Yeah, until you moved again and then opened up all the wounds.
It's not that bad.
Even though I don't have it as a skill.
Look, it only hurts if you touch it.
Nate, just get it healed.
Are you afraid of healing?
Oh my god. You've been with
I'm gonna take
Elliot
off
for
my,
how
like-
long?
My, nun hat. I don't know what it's called. Nun hat.
As you do remove that, by the way, Nate looks at you like completely and utterly shocked.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh wait, no, you introduced yourself earlier, so he probably would have
He
been
lost his
shocked
shit at
earlier.
me. Yeah,
No,
he
he
lost his
didn't
shit.
know.
Yeah, that's absolutely, he had no idea.
Yeah, he didn't know. It's like, oh, come, seriously, Nate? Everyone knew.
Also, what does Ermine want to be addressed as, actually?
You could just call her Ermine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Her
Yeah,
regular code name.
Yeah, thank you, Ermine.
And she nods. I'll get a reference for her in the video as well. So yeah, feel free to roll any of your things. There are also critical injuries that you guys have that
Yeah, no, actually, I want to focus on Nate's critical injury, because I think he had a couple.
he had 2, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have any. Wow, okay.
I have a single critical injury, actually.
I'm impressed. I got nothing.
I have a fearsome wound.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
what's the difficulty for healing and critical injury?
I believe it increases the difficulty by 2. It's on the magic thing.
Yeah.
Pull that up.
I did the ranged DPS thing and I stayed away from fighting.
You did it.
Yeah, you did it.
You did it.
Good shit.
Heal critical, increase the difficulty by 2. And that's a part of. So basically, that you can increase the difficulty of the healing check by 2, so you can heal wounds and that.
Yeah, no, I'll do that for Nate.
Nice. So yeah, it'll heal one of his critical injuries, and it'll heal all of his wounds. He does have a second critical injury care to try and heal it, but yeah, he's fine.
Honestly, like, if we can not go to our next battle with some critical injuries, that would be
Yeah,
great.
we need to be at our best.
Or at least just because we can get it.
Yeah,
or at
that's fair.
least as good as we can get.
Like, I appreciate the gusto, Nate, but like,
No, Nate, come on.
Sit down.
Fuck down.
So then take your medicine.
And so yeah, you'll be able to heal both of his critical injuries. Nothing was permanent anyways. But I am going to have you suffer 4 additional strain.
Ow.
And let's see, Beatrice also has a critical injury. I think that's it. Except for I don't know about PCs. Oh yeah, you have
have a
too.
critical.
Heal yourself.
All right, then me and B will heal each other's critical injuries. 'cause
Each other's.
Oh.
Whoa.
Real quick, since
Yes.
we're speaking about next combat, do we have our masterclass things?
Yes, you are going to have your class abilities.
Okay.
I need to write down Aether.
Wow, you have Aether?
Aether!
So yeah, Connor, Beatrice will be able to heal yours. And you'll be able to heal hers. You'll just suffer an extra 2 strain.
Oh hey, with that last check, I could have actually used my masterclass ability.
Oh yeah, what's your? Oh yeah, that's fun. Forgot about that. Did you want to do that? It would be a story point, and you wouldn't suffer as much strain.
Yeah.
How's your stream looking?
Not great.
Okay, we'll use the light side, and then I'll use my ability to take it back.
Okay. In that case, you're just going to be able to heal all of your strain with that with the triumph.
Yeah.
Back to the dark side.
That's a fun
Okay.
masterclass ability. I like.
That's the fun.
So yeah, your critical injury is gone. Her critical injury is gone. There's still some scarring though, but she's fine. It's all good. She'll just wear a bracelet.
Badass stories.
She's been looking into wearing a bracelet anyways. This is just
Oh my god.
but yeah, so you guys have a moment to kind of a moment of respite, and
So everybody has critical injuries healed.
yes, I believe
we're good.
that's all of the crits.
Okay.
And so as you guys take this time, you guys can also plot, and you're also free to ask anybody that you need around here.
I would actually like to pull Amara
Yeah,
aside.
like-
Okay, yeah,
Like-
and so yeah, I assume that at some point Warren will show up back here because this is the two of them will head back here. And yeah, you when she comes in, I'm assuming you're just gonna snag her right then and there.
Yep. Take her to a different room, like before she sees the group.
Aye. What do you want?
I've heard you've been having a difficult time.
She raises an eyebrow.
More so, I've heard what's been going on while you all were on the road. And I assume Davian told me what
Yeah.
happened.
I did.
Okay.
Oh, you ain't talking about Weston, are you?
Yes.
What's it to you?
Group cohesion is important to me.
Oh, and I ain't the one to talk to one of our allies, am I?
He will be talked to as well. Honestly, it's something that I more want to address before something gets out of hand. And she actually gestures for her to sit down somewhere.
She kind of throws her hands up and she'll sit down,
And
leaning up,
sits
like
next to her.
kind of leans up against the wall and just kind of like slides down to the ground.
First of all, I imagine Legala hasn't been what you've expected it to be.
I ain't never been in a war before. Don't really know what I expected. All I know is that it's full of pompous shites, like that fuckery that you brought into the prison.
They're an unfortunate They're unfortunately everywhere you go. Though in this place, they tend to be more capable of magic. That said, how have you been doing, Amara?
She kind of like chuckles to herself a little bit and is like, "You serious?"
Yes.
You sure like to pry into people's lives, don't you?
I don't like to pry. I just want to know how they're doing.
Same difference if you ask me. Make a charm check real quick.
Okay.
3 difficulty. Get a boost dice because you guys did spend a good portion of your time across the boat ride, kind of teaching her like things about Legala and stuff. But add a setback dice also because she's like not really looking to talk about this too much.
I'm gonna intense focus.
Nice.
So she kind of dodges it for a little bit and I mean, how the fuck am I supposed to do? I'll leave the only shithole I ever known as a home to come over and apparently meet my father, just to be drug around meeting my cousin out of nowhere, learning he's a... Well, you know, I already told you. And not a damn soul wants to listen to a goddamn thing I'll have to say.
Well,
I know I ain't great at this. Just bloody started.
But I want to listen tomorrow.
Yeah, I reckon that's why you keep asking me.
She nods.
So what? Am I just supposed to sit here and talk about my feelings?
You can talk about what you want, but ultimately, I understand what it's like to be pulled into something like a parent that only suddenly comes into your life. Makes you do what you want to do.
Yeah, I guess you would, wouldn't you?
It isn't easy. And ultimately what I want to know is, out of everything, past Legala, past all this, past what you've been asked to do here, what do you want to do, Amara? What do you want right now more than...
She like looks at you for a second, and she like opens her mouth to answer, and then she closes it. I guess I can't really answer that, can I? I don't know. Not really. I don't want to be some prissy noble girl, but I don't I don't want to go back and live in the streets. I don't want to be some sort of government spy like my mom.
And you don't have to be.
I guess I just kind of tagged along because it was just about the only thing I could do. Not to mention the pay is, well, better than pinching coins off of folk in the streets. Not to mention, if I didn't teach Red how to do much of how to defend herself, then, well, she'd be too stubborn to learn from anyone else, I think.
Did you enjoy teaching her?
I mean, it was fun. I ain't never really had no one to call a friend before. It was always just me and Dante.
By the way, what happened to her dog?
Oh yeah, I imagine he is actually still with you guys, and it's just like
we
probably
had a dog with us
right?
the whole
it's probably
time.
just There's a dog, by the way. I'm bad at remembering dogs.
Two dogs.
It's a wolf.
Yeah, actually, straight
Sergeant
up a
Cookie,
dog.
too.
Well, Sergeant Cookie, that's easy because Sergeant Cookie can just be back at like
Yeah, he's back.
he's
down there.
boofing outside of the outside of
yeah.
wherever Piper's at. Occasionally, she'll wrestle him.
Yeah.
Sergeant Cookie is protecting Piper like a good boy.
Protecting.
It's hard to remember animals when they're not class features.
Exactly. It's fair.
Though honestly, I imagine she actually does have animal companion
Oh.
because it's a fucking wolf. Like, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way.
But as we're working, as we're doing all this, I can help. I can help you find something you want to do. But there is something I do need to ask of you.
Here it comes. She kind of rolls her eyes.
You don't have to like him, but we need you to work together for this mission, especially if we're going to meet with your father.
You gotta choose on that.
Sometimes doing jobs like these means working with someone that you don't want to work for. Or with. I mean, look at Connor. He despises me. Justifiably so, but he still works with me. War means that you can't always choose who your allies are, but at the end of the day, it's your allies that keep you alive.
Can I have you make another charm check? It's gonna be same difficulty, but make it 2 setback dice instead. And I'm going to spend a story point to upgrade.
Well, I'm going to take a story point to also upgrade mine.
Well, fine.
Oh wait, I did the wrong thing. And 2 setback dice. Do I still get a boost die?
Yeah.
Well.
What does that even mean?
And she kind of crosses her arms for a minute.
Though, actually, I saw the altercation that happened when she got off the.
Yeah.
Okay. Something I might like to add real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah. No. Totally.
In addition to that, Amara, how have you and Rinzu been doing?
It's been pretty shite.
You did come here for her, after all.
Oh no.
It seemed to be the only thing that you really cared.
I came thinking that she actually needs some help and all that, and then I step in, and all of a sudden, well, I guess she just don't really need me. Or at least that's what it feels like.
And I don't want to pry, but have you been lashing out at Westland partially because of that?
I don't think so. But now that you say it, I don't know. Maybe.
It might be something to talk to her about. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what she decided to do is her decision, but if she's not listening to you as you say, then friendship is something that goes both ways.
See, this is why it was a lot easier when the only people you talked to were creatures what had 4 legs, you know?
People are complicated. Unfortunately complicated. We all have our flaws, and nobody's perfect. But we do what we can.
Just wish people weren't so bleeding complicated sometimes.
Unfortunately, I can't say anything comforting there. She kind of like smiles weakly. But I'm here to talk. And hopefully, if you'll have me, I'm here to be a friend if you need me to.
She kind of sighs. I'll think about what you said.
Thank you, Amara.
Stars, you're more of a bleeding mother than my own mother is.
She kind of like blinks at that. That's the first time I've ever been told that. But is this mission something you actually want to do? Do you want to meet your father? And do you want to help us blackmail him so he'll work with us?
I guess. I don't even know what kind of person he is.
Yes, and I've been trying to get what intel I can, and it's sparse, so we'll essentially be going in blind. So, one other thing, if we're going to do that, we don't know what to expect, so we're going to need to treat this like, unfortunately, and I know it's hard to say with your first meeting with your father, a job rather than a social interaction.
I don't bloody like being social, so works just fine with me.
All right. All right. Shall we? Also, I'm not going to force you to apologize, but it's probably something that that you should do.
All right, now you're just pushing it.
You don't have to, but it would make a good impression to the group, even if you don't mean it. She says with a smile.
She like looks at you and cocks her head to the side and is like, "Did you really just suggest I do that?"
Shrugs. It'd be good for morale.
She kind of grins.
But that said, the apology doesn't have to be real, but you can't be doing what you've been doing on the rest of the trip. Not
Gotcha.
anymore. Thank you, Amara.
Yeah. It's whatever. I'll think on it.
She nods.
You're always the one that Bladen makes me think all the time. I don't like it.
That's my job as your teacher, Amara.
And she kind of crosses her arms again. It's quite the setup you got up in here.
It is. I mean, if you're interested. If mercenary work isn't exactly your...
As she kind of stands up, she shrugs and says, "Well, I don't bleed know what I want, so I suppose I'll keep an eye out."
She nods.
I mean,
We'll find
after
you.
all, I don't really think I'm quite what Davian had in mind with my mom's replacement.
Ultimately, what you do with your life is your choice. So let's find you something that you love doing. All right?
She kind of laughs a bit and kind of shaking her head with her hands on her hips, she shrugs and says, "All right, fine. I'll figure something out." And yeah, she'll leave with you at that point. And when she does return to the group, she doesn't say anything. But Rinzu, she's definitely like looking at you throughout the course of like the time that you guys are resting. Like you catch her a couple times, like just kind of looking at you. But she doesn't say anything and she keeps her distance and she's not causing any trouble.
Okay.
But she's being quiet. And she does it, she's not even looking at Westland. But yeah, during that time, you guys will be able to recover and all that as you go. And yeah, so now would be a time if you chose to collab with whatever information you have a game plan.
All right.
Just talk it out.
So I relay the information that I've learned these past few weeks. Or, not weeks, week. Essentially, what's the name of the mercenary company?
The
Fair
wagey.
Use one.
Wagey.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I have some pretty intrinsic knowledge of this group.
Actually, Hiei, make a check to see. Make a knowledge warfare check against 2 difficulty. Add 2 boost dice.
Going to intense focus. This could be important. It's like right on the tip of my. It's right there.
You don't know too much about them beyond what information did you have so far, Anna?
I don't think I had numbers, but there is one sword woman who was really strong, really powerful, really renowned, and really scary. That I think was their leader.
Yes, that much I know you.
They're
but
also.
You didn't have
I had their name, not the person's name, but the group's name. That they're coming in a few days. Very soon. and Black Watch has been essentially hired to pick them up and bring them back to Arcanon.
So, yeah, with those 6 advantages, you know generally that information, and you also know, one of 2 things. Either A, I can give you 2 pieces of information that you know, or B, you can ask me 1 question that I will answer about the group itself. So I can give you 2 things, or you can ask me a question, I'll answer it with what you.
You know what? We're gonna go quantity over quality in this one. So give me the 2
Okay.
pieces because I don't really have a specific question.
You know these 2 things. Firstly, it is the largest mercenary group.
Fair.
Hands down. And there are, at any given moment, there are over 1,000 people who are a member of this group at any time. That said, you kind of piggybacking off of that information, you also know that the reason that they have so many people is oftentimes because not because they're always recruiting, but because the individuals who are hired are pretty good at what. You also know the following. The leader, the swordswoman that she told you about. She's a woman of peerless skill, as I had mentioned before. Her name is Shi Myong, which I will also spell. Make sure I get it right. Or Xia Myong, rather. And you roughly know what she looks like, and you know many of the rumors surrounding her as well. She has an abundance of rumors that follow her, including but not limited to the fact that she wields a blade that is indestructible and can cut through anything. That's been folded over 1 million times in the heat of the sun.
Fuck you.
You've heard a rumor that she consumed the heart of a dragon. You heard rumors that she is the illegitimate child of the emperors. You've heard that she is a goddess walking among men, both from people speaking about her prowess with the blade and with people speaking about her appearance. And you've also heard that she has personally confirmed that all of these rumors are true.
Wow.
Which, of course, means that you have no way of knowing what rumors of them are true or not. But clearly she enjoys the legends about her.
As anybody would.
Yes. But her true name, as the name that she uses, is not the name she was given. She took that name most likely. Her true origins are unknown. And perhaps never will be known.
If this is the might of the Weiji that is coming to Gala, it would be difficult. Though I doubt they would send the entire force.
Depends on how much sway Liao has.
As a Dusk Maiden, I would imagine she would have a match, but I doubt she would actually enlist their aid. That would be too stupid.
Why?
Well, abuse of power, aiding an outside nation, using royal funds, the list goes on. She wouldn't do that.
What's to stop Alexis from providing the funds?
Indeed. It might be a joint effort.
This bodes ill.
He could
The
be
Black
paying-
Wilds have probably more money than anyone else.
he could be paying, and she could just be providing the. Either way, even though it is foolish of her, I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility.
If she's to be removed, I need proof. I need proof that she was the one who did this. Because otherwise, it's just... Damn it.
Circumstantial.
Why? Why is she here?
For her own means, it seems. Or is... Which one are you talking about?
Leo.
Yeah. For her own means, probably.
I've never known a Dusk Maiden or Duskmeister to want for anything.
There are always exceptions to a rule.
I suppose.
Well, the more reason we need to stop Blackwatch from eating them.
That said, we can't do anything, but they are taking the entirety of that mercenary company. In the off chance that mercenary company,
They would need several of our vessels.
yes, and a Fengrongese large one should easily be spotted. And if they're a week out, we would technically be able to see something that far away soon.
Probably when it's within a day
Yeah.
of getting here, most likely, yeah.
If it's something large, we should in a day, but we can't. Us here can't take on a force that large.
And
Not by
yeah.
ourselves.
Not alone.
I don't think that's what she's planning.
Who?
Actually, Eric,
Yes.
did we do if the loom is near?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yes. It is not
The loom
near.
is not near.
Is it further away than
It is.
before,
It,
or-
suppose it's basically in the same really far distance.
Okay.
Yeah, it does not seem to have gotten any closer.
Yeah, no, that was one of the first things I did. I got you covered.
Yeah. Well, they're mercenaries, right? Why don't we just hire them?
I doubt
They're
we could.
Because we
Not-
don't have that much money.
They're
Well-
not just mercenaries, Davian. They're the best that my people have. That's the reason there's so many of them. They're the closest thing that we have to any kind of militarized force. Which is troubling given the conjecture I'm about to propose. And baseless as this might be, it is still something to take under consideration. The fact that she's potentially bringing all of them here could stir something of a political incident. If she's trying to sow chaos, what better way than throwing a bunch of foreign attackers at a country already at war?
But what does she benefit from this? That's the thing we need to figure out too.
And Prince's told us what her plans were as far as Blackwild was concerned.
Yes.
Yes.
Rinzu, her intentions to bed Blackwild were pretty blatant.
And they were.
She, whether for her own influence or to get influence in Legala, she wanted to get involved in Legala. And she's using Blackwild to do that.
Why? What could she need that's here? Other than
Her own country, perhaps. Her own power, separate from others.
I suppose magic is a bit more freely practiced here, but I can't see anything that would lead her to these kinds of means?
She can use the loom, and nobody knows what it is here. I assume if she had tried to use that back in Fangkrong to use her influence on people, somebody would have caught on to it eventually.
She would have been removed
So she
hastily.
might have come to a playing field where she would have the element of surprise, where she could weave her influence without being noticed. It's starting from scratch, but also this war is providing her the intention to do it, and during times of war, people don't seem to look at things so thoroughly.
Less of a blank slate, more of a blank check.
Exactly. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we're dealing with a selfish woman who wants her own power and doesn't care what she has to do to get it.
Disgraceful.
Ultimately, her causing an international incident doesn't matter much to her, so much as she gets what she wants. And her assistant gives Blackwild these mercenaries, so who is he to question that? That said, motivation doesn't necessarily solve our problem.
No.
So we don't have the money to deal with them. We don't have the numbers to deal with them. But
Wait a minute. Amara says. We don't got the coin for it, no. So why don't we get the coin for it?
Are you planning on robbing someone?
I mean, not directly, no.
what are your...
The bloke of a father. And he a member of the same bleeding family? He's got to have some good coin stashed up in there.
Not main branch, so he won't have nearly as much as worse.
Eric, do I by any chance know the going rate for the Ouija?
Expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are high-end mercenaries. Likely, like, whatever the highest going rate would be what you would expect to pay them.
Oh, well, there's also the added, argument that we could bring up that if you work for us, you're less likely to cause an international incident, and things will be better when you get home for you.
So negotiate.
Because things will be fine now when they go in this country and beat up things, but what's going to happen to them when they go back? And it's going to get out by a certain point that, because you sent it back that Liao had the loom.
Yes.
And though there's not really proof of that, at the moment, if we're able to find out and prove that she had that and prove that she's kind of done all these things, then what's it going to say for them if it turns out if they've worked for her?
But
It's
that
a gamble.
That gamble also means that we have to get that proof now.
Yeah.
It's life without a little gamble. I'm sure Brennan has something. He's been hired to meet with them. So he has to have something.
I mean, if we could just get them for a month. Pay them to not do anything. Hey, we'll pay you to not get yourselves killed.
I'd just rather not fight that many people.
Ideally, we won't have
it
to.
Ultimately, it won't be us that fight them, it's them that cut through us and then go to attack our allies.
Fair, but they don't really know the lay of the land.
So,
That doesn't stop them from bringing scouts and people who are equipped to get that information.
plus they have
Honestly-
Brennan. That's what Brennan is here for. If the Black Watch was a smaller company, I would say just take them out so they don't have anyone to contact when they make landfall. Take advantage of that confusion to speak to them. But that might be difficult with Brennan being as scarce as he is, because I think he knows we'd try something like that. Thoughts? Ultimately, there is also the plan of recruiting / blackmailing Julius into assisting us.
Or, walking into a trap. We don't have enough information to safely do that.
We don't have enough information to safely do anything at this point.
Fair.
So I guess, or I rather let's see, who's I gonna say this? Melody actually will probably say this. So I guess at the end of the day, it seems like we have 2-3 courses of action. 1, try and find this Brennan guy. 2, try and see if we can get the money elsewhere from this Julius Blackwild, or
There's not going to be
3,
enough.
or 3, we try and speak to these mercenaries directly.
Well, we have time before they arrive, so we can put that on hold.
Less than a week.
Less than a week, at best.
I do have another option potentially. It
Shoot.
involves them landing and me speaking with Xiaoyan. He reaches into his back pouch and unbuckles a small, basically a small leather pouch. He opens it, and I'm not sure who all has actually seen whatever this is, but grab it for you real quick. He basically produces this more or less. It's beautifully engraved in silver and gold and onyx inlay, and he shows it to everybody. I could potentially use this.
What is that?
Holds no magical properties or anything, but this is the Cripper. He entrusted me with this upon my, indictment into my order. I do, in certain circumstances, speak for them. Could appeal to their sense of honor and attempt to convince them to go home, but
Aren't they contractually obligated to carry out, though, however?
therein lies the conflict.
Yeah, does a mouthpiece for the Emperor carry enough weight to do that?
Have they actually signed a contract yet, though?
Unlikely, given how far apart we are from them.
These were already sent and contracts exchanged. We don't know for sure whether or not.
And Liao's been here for months.
And she could have made this move even sooner. Before she left for Zode even. She left Zode even.
Yeah, so she knew war was brewing. I have another idea. What if we utilize that Julius plan Amara mentioned earlier, but hire Blackwatch instead?
That all depends on how much They're going, Vorks.
Assuming Brennan would work for us.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, they're not mercenaries like you, but practically anything for money.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his greeting was rather personal.
You know, that's fair. But
Not to mention, he's been working personally for that.
He's,
I feel like you two both said that at the start,
yeah,
because that's what you were about to say too, right?
yeah.
That said, I've been able to contact some people from the council and from the sons and daughters, and previous sons and daughters, call it, in the city. We could send out an order to them to subvert any Black Watch members that they find. It's
Yeah,
an
I'd rather
extreme
split.
order. It's extreme order, but given how they behave at our greeting, it might be probable cause enough to say that their company is the city. And they are.
They're working for the Magisters. That
They
should be
are
reason
working for
enough
the
for them.
Magisters.
That's reason enough for them to get involved, shouldn't it?
It's not always that simple.
No, but they did start a war with the Magisters or Loyalists. So why stop now?
It's been difficult to gather information of them, not because of people's ability, but because Brennan knows what he's doing.
Speaking of which, therein lies his secret of how he's been hiding. Well, the black feathers. Or somewhat,
Yes, we need to find Vet.
Of course we do. Who else would ever know information?
That said, he might be working with Crow Togwell, as opposed to Vet, but if anyone knows the Crow Togwell in the city, it's probably Vet.
The
And
king
that's
of
not being
ravens
racist.
himself.
Normally that would be racist, but
she's not wrong. So many things to do, so little time.
indeed.
Let's get
Well,
started.
what do we have agreement on right now? That said, there are some personal issues to work out first.
Agreed.
And so if there's anyone that needs to say anything to anyone, that might be addressed right now.
Right now.
But I think, given how everybody's talked with each other, we've come to an accord that no matter what happens, we're all a team. The Blood of Legala is counting on us to complete this mission, and if we fail, well, we've just thoroughly explained what will happen.
Yeah, failure isn't an option for us.
So we're going to need everybody to put past personal issues to the side for this. And I know that's something all of you are capable of. But if there's anything anyone wants to say, please say it.
How much are you looking at Amara after saying that?
Actually, not much.
Okay.
Like,
I'm looking at Amara.
Well, then
She's
say
not
it.
looking at you.
yeah, no. Yeah. Glances to Amara, glances to Westland.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Looking and saying things are two different things.
I'm sorry, everyone. Westland says. I swear I won't let that happen again. I won't let my emotions rule over me.
Good.
I have a responsibility to not let that happen.
We're counting on you, Westland.
He nods determinedly, and
You're hardly the first person in this circle to have lost control at least once.
Alstro nods.
and I think Warren also nods. Like, yeah.
As her hair tellingly glows a bit.
Warren actually speaks up and says, "We pretty much have the quintessential ragtag group of do-gooders here in this room right now. We ain't gonna get along. We ain't gonna get... And like, he cuts you off, like, before you say that, and it's just like, just roll with me here for a second, princess, come on. And he kind of continuing on just says, we all have a mission here, and at the end of the day, I think we'll get this through. Personal drama and problems with each other aside, yeah? And then we'll ride home all triumphant, and the ladies will throw themselves at you, he says to no one in particular.
Wow.
Especially considering that most of the people in this room are either A, with somebody, or B, totally not into that.
Wait, Nate?
Well, I mean, Nate also isn't looking for ladies to throw themselves at him.
Oh, okay.
Unless they're throwing at them at him to fight. And then he'll be like, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm into
He's
that.
DTF, down to fight.
Oh my god.
So let's get this all wrapped up in a nice pretty package so we can ride home and have our names chanted around all the taverns in Dalhurst, eh?
Did we discuss the meeting of one of the mercenaries tonight?
Oh yeah.
That's
Do we want to go to that?
the thing, yeah.
Like, I don't think Brennan will be there,
No, but
and it also gets certain, like, if they'll be in all in one place, it might be easier to scope out where the others are.
I mean, if you're looking for somebody to just eavesdrop, that's kind of my specialty.
I guess the question is, does the group want to crash or eavesdrop?
I feel like eavesdropping is safer.
well,
Yeah.
if things
That
go to
is.
shit, then we
And if we want to crash, and I think like they might also there might be expecting us to crash,
Hmm.
and especially if they know that somebody might have talked, they might actually turn that into a trap.
fair enough.
Like, we could eavesdrop, but necessary risks, I guess.
Yeah.
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
Exactly. That said, we should also spend some time doing some, like, I know we did some actual team building exercises to just kind of let go of what happened today. Not forget it, but kind of it. Like, because
Not a bad plan.
Yeah.
so, plus it's time we're recuperating anyway.
That's also fair, yeah, because some of you guys still have some decent strain.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys can take a little bit more time to do that. How long do you guys want to basically like to recover? How much time you use? It's probably about 1:30, almost 2 right now.
An hour?
So, like, just being clear, Amara made absolutely no moves whatsoever to make any kind of even fake apology.
No, not yet.
But does she look like she's going to? When
She looks like she's been quiet in that kind of like half brooding, half contemplating kind of way. She generally speaking is one who does a lot of internal thinking. And
Like-
she's kind of got that internal thinking face based on what you guys were talking about and other things.
And I also don't think that she's the kind of person to talk about that publicly
No.
and make it more like, she's an introvert. She's not going to like bring it up to the group. She's probably going to talk to people personally afterward. And we'll keep an eye on her, and if she hasn't done that by the time that we're like done recuperating, then we'll talk to her about it. I feel like that's the safest thing to do, and kind of like
Yeah, let's go with that.
that's kind of, I guess that's how you kind of handle a
Cool.
person.
I
like
know
Amara.
literally nothing about her personality whatsoever, except that she's bitter.
That's fair.
Elster would actually go and talk to Connor about what we talked about
Cool.
because
I'm gonna drag in our good old friend Davian with us,
okay, yeah, we're gonna probably powwow.
and then I'm gonna make direct eye contact with Warren.
Okay, wait. Who's where talking about what?
Me, Davian, and Alster are going to a different room to talk. And on the way out, I'm making direct eye contact with Warren.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Sharp ears need not apply to this conversation. And I'm going to smile at him and wave, like, my magic-y goodness. And nobody can hear in this room.
He just like
Outside this room.
turns. He just turns to the others and just kind of like throws his arms up. And he's like, "I feel called out right now." I've been profiled. Sure, don't look at the ninja. Look at me. That's a...
You like the most likely person to eavesdrop, and you know it.
And he just plugs his ears and is like, I can't hear you.
I'm just gonna shrug and shut the door.
And yeah, so absolutely.
Elster just kind of rolls her eyes at all this.
I'm just staring.
An internal like, please stop flirting.
I think Nate just
Oh,
laughs
no.
because that was funny.
Oh no, that wasn't flirting. That was letting somebody else know.
Okay. It kind of sounded like anyway.
I mean, it
I
was a
know.
little bit too.
That's why I did it like that.
Well,
Well,
You want to speak first, then?
I guess like kind of give you the rundown of what we've talked about to the side. Like, and I feel like would you have given us the rundown of Westland, what you talked to Westland about?
Yeah. Basically, I'm gonna tell him that I gave him the same conversation I gave you.
Yeah. Okay. And was like, yeah, no, Amara feels like she hasn't been listened to, and she's namely acting out because.
So she's been emotionally lashing out at other people who actually care about her for the past several days, and
They
approaching
haven't been
borderline
showing,
physical assault with Westland because she doesn't know how to handle her own feelings.
they haven't been showing they care about her is the thing.
Neither has she.
It's kind of one of those situations where everything is feeding into itself and ultimately resulted in things getting out of hand.
Yeah, and all I've seen of her so far is that she's very volatile. And now we want to press her into a situation that she's actually emotionally invested in. That's also very delicate.
She's also good at doing things when it comes down to being a job.
I've yet to see that.
I have. And Davian also has. She gestures to Davian.
And no offense, from what I've seen from Westland, he seems more of a liability. But you're vouching for him. So I'll give him that.
Ultimately, we've all have limited points of view of these people. And things haven't been handled in the best way. But they are being handled now. And I have faith in everybody here that will be able to finish this mission strong, even though we had a bit of a shaky start.
I'll work with Amara.
I will also work at Amara.
I haven't been doing my job as an actual commander, just giving orders, but not considering her feelings.
And here's my recommendation. Westland and Amara don't get to touch anything having to do with their own personal problems.
That said, she is the leverage we're using to reach Julius. If we're going to talk to Julius at all, she's going to need to be there. I see your point, but ultimately she's necessary to completing that particular part of the mission should we decide to go through with that.
Her existence is, sure.
Certain physical proof has a bigger impact than just implying that it happens. Ultimately, we need to make as big as an impact as we can.
So we're just going to go in there and immediately move straight to blackmail then?
I'm not going to move straight to blackmail. We have no idea what to expect, and we have no idea what Julius is doing. But if anything, we're bringing up the fact that Amara exists. And essentially, we need her there to prove that. Because otherwise, it's not going to have as much of